Folks, I've been thinking about this one for a while. And the subject matter of this particular video is, what do you have to lose? And actually, it's what did we have to lose? I'm going to break this up into three individual parts. First, this portion goes out to all of the black people in particular, but people of color in general, as far as what did you have to lose by voting for Donald Trump. What we lost was, number one, respect, because this man absolutely does not respect people of color, period. I say that based on his actions over the past year, as far as doing anything to benefit black people in particular, but people of color in general. If we recall last year at the Republican convention, which was held in Cleveland, Ohio, at the same time, the NAACP, National Advancement, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, they had their annual meeting at the same time. Now, that meeting was held in Columbus, Ohio, which is about a 30-minute helicopter ride from Cleveland. And the governing body of the NAACP asked Mr. Trump if he would be kind enough to speak before the conference, which had somewhere in the vicinity of 10,000 people there attending. And for some reason, although the conference stated that they would adjust their schedule to make it as convenient for him as possible over the 3-day conference that they had, somehow Mr. Trump couldn't find the time to fly down to Columbus, 30 minutes, speak before the group, call it, let's say 15 minutes if he wanted to speak that long, and spend another 30 minutes to fly back. So we're talking about maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours travel time. Now, if you recall, Donald Trump really didn't do anything, make any public appearances until the evenings of the GOP convention. So he had all morning, or all of 3 mornings, that he could have used to at least make a window dressing type showing of his, let's call it, support for the black community, but he couldn't do that. Somehow he didn't have time. Well, that was one attempt, or actually one lack of an attempt. Well, guess what, folks? The conference occurred again this year, the annual conference. And once again, Mr. Trump was invited to speak and was told that they would accommodate any time period that he wanted in order to speak before the conference. And once again, Mr. Trump has declined to speak before them. And that fat cow of a press secretary, Sarah Huckabee, issued some lame excuse about his schedule not allowing him to make time to appear before the conference. And I mean, it was an absolutely lame excuse. But at the same time, she indicated that he would be more than willing sometime in the future to speak before them, time permitting. Well, folks, that's an absolute slap in the face. And then you add that together with the fact that he has lied about his support of HBCUs, and he had his bed wench who attended an HBCU and stated to the Congressional Black Caucus Mr. Trump's full support for HBCUs. But when it came time to put his money where his mouth was, i.e. budget and financial promises, wasn't done. So as far as I'm concerned, all you black folks who believe the bullshit of Donald Trump stating, what do you have to lose? Well, what you have to lose is any type of support or help, hand up, etc., even respect for the black community. But you swallowed hard, or turned around and bent over, or basically just decided that you didn't give a damn about your future or the future of our community, and in particular the future of our children. So that's what we have to lose, and we're losing it every day. But that's just part one. Part two, all of you gay folks out there, LGBTQ people, Donald Trump, again, during the primaries, stated that he would be super strong in defense of that particular community. He couldn't even pronounce the letters. That's how bad this was. Well, if you notice recently, Mr. Trump has now disqualified all transgenders from entering into military service. Why is that? I ask that question in particular because the Department of Defense made no request of him. His generals made no request of him. The Pentagon made no request of him to make any type of changes away from the changes that former President Obama had made, making it easier for people of all genders and identifications to serve in the military. But Mr. Trump decided on his own, although he lied and stated that he had spoken with his military people about this subject matter, he decided on his own that transgender people should not be allowed to serve in the military in defense of this country. So transgender people, LGBTQ people, what did you have to lose? I would say self-respect and the ability to do what every other, call it straight American, can do, which is serve our country. But now third, and fortunately, luckily, America, what did you have to lose? Well, for, let's just go lowball, 16 million people had their health care to lose. And if it wasn't for the fact that you had 3 Republican senators that voted against the skinny repeal of the Affordable Care Act, 16 million of you plus, and I do mean plus, would have had a dramatic reduction or loss of their ability to obtain health care. Donald Trump is listening to racists like Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller. He's also looking to line his own pockets and the pockets of the 1% or 1/10 of 1% in this country at the expense of the poor and the middle class. He sold a great line. This guy is an ultimate marketer. This guy knows television pretty much like no other president in history. But as far as policies and even his empathy for the everyday American, he sold you guys a bill of goods. He sold the people in Indiana a bill of goods when he talked about saving all those carrier jobs, which he had absolutely nothing to do with. And oh, by the way, those jobs are gone. Excuse me. They've announced that, actually it was yesterday, that they were deleting over 300 jobs at that carrier plant in Indiana and moving those jobs to Mexico, and another 260 plus jobs are being deleted at the end of the year, 3 days before Christmas. So much for Donald Trump saving those carrier jobs. So much for him reversing the trend and jobs coming back into America versus jobs leaving America. This guy is a used car salesman. And unfortunately, as soon as we bought the car and tried to drive it off the lot, the damn thing collapsed and there was no warranty on our purchase. So we're in trouble, folks. And I was hoping that 2018 might be the year that we started getting this thing back on track, but I'm being less and less hopeful as far as flipping the Senate over, because they didn't vote for that skinny repeal of the Affordable Care Act, which might have put a nail in their coffin as far as getting Democrats reelected into the Senate. And I'm feeling less and less hopeful about flipping the House. They need about 44 flips while maintaining their current numbers, that's the Democrats, in order to take over the majority of the House of Representatives, which, if you weren't aware of it, is responsible for generating the budget. Now, the Senate does have to go along with it, but all financial appropriations must originate in the House of Representatives. And we would need to flip the House and the Senate in order to try to get a budget that would be more, let me call it, people-friendly. And even then, we will still have to get past this prick. So, saddle up, folks. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. It's more than likely going to be rough sledding. But if we make the mistake of voting for this prick again, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.